Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 75941. This is the LEGO Jurassic World Indominus Rex versus Ankylosaurus, and this set contains 537 pieces and retails for $100, which pretty bad price per piece, but we do get 2 dinos plus a gyrosphere. The top shows us all of the figures in the set, plus both dinosaurs. And the back of the box shows off some of the play features and everything, like normal, like you'd expect. There is one instruction booklet, which is formatted in portrait mode, which is interesting, but it does a pretty good job of actually giving you a cool background behind all the builds there. And in the back of this instruction booklet, we have an ad that shows off all the dinos from the new wave of sets. I believe... Oh, it shows the last wave too, in addition to the new wave. So, both the 2019 and 2020 sets. And here's an ad for the 2020 sets. If you want to see a review of the lab, I have one of those, but it's already up on the channel, and I probably won't be getting others, so I will not be reviewing them. But yeah, that's what we got packaging here. Let's take a look at the build first. In addition to the main, Gyrosphere launch station build, we also have this little side build that includes the sign for the Gyrosphere attraction, which is pretty cool. It looks good. It looks pretty much exactly like it does in the LEGO Jurassic World video game. So, I mean, that's cool, I guess. And the way that that's built is actually kind of interesting. I guess we can just turn it around to show you. It uses these 2x2 slider plate things to be able to attach these corner round tiles, and this is just attached via one of those bar things. So, and those are 3 stickers on 2 2x4 tiles and a 2x2 round tile. But you can see these trees wobbling around a little. That's part of a play feature. The trees look a little bit weird with the studs on the outside, but it doesn't bother me too much because, at least we actually get trees and, kind of make it look a little bit more like the island should. So, it's always nice to get more of these. They can be removed. They're just clipped on, and you can, I guess, swap the sides so that one is the taller one's on the other side if you want to, or you can just completely remove them and just have a completely standalone gyrosphere sign, which does also have that one sticker down on the bottom with the little dino fossil, which is kind of cool looking. And I guess there's a better look at it from around the back. But the bases of both of the trees are built identically, and basically you can knock them over. As you can see, I've done way too many times, and basically what you would do to do that is hit that with the tail of your Ankylosaurus. And basically this pin will lock into a technical in this that will keep this from falling over. Basically when you push this out of the way, the Technic pin is no longer inside it, and it will just plop off. These are attached by Technic pins, so that's why they spin around in circles pretty easily. But they do have a good amount of foliage cover from the top. From the sides, it's a little bit less. Maybe it would have been nice to get a couple branches sticking off, like at least one branch on each tree, but it's fine, I guess. And just to take a little bit of a closer look at the bases there's a little bit of plant life around. They do actually use both green and bright green for those plant pieces. And this side is left empty so that when the tree falls over, it won't look too, or like it'll actually be able to fall. But it does look a little bit plain when the tree has not fallen over. But yeah, that's this, and just so you can see, both of the trees will fall over. And here's the gyrosphere, and mine wants to fall over because my floor is not flat, so neither is my desk. So sorry about that, but there's really nothing I can do there. It's a very slight angle, but it will still fall over. But basically, if you don't know how these work, they do roll and keep the figure standing up there. They use 2 new molds. Well, not 2 different new molds, but like 2 of 1 new mold that was introduced. Like this is the same build that the original Jurassic World Gyrospheres had, so it's been around since the 2015 wave. But there's a chair there, as well as this one has a new sticker, which features the Jimmy Fallon on the screen giving you safety instructions and exploding. And it also features a slightly different, I believe, print. It at least has a different part number than the original Jurassic World wave of sets gyrospheres. So, while it's very similar and built the same way, it is slightly updated, I guess. So it is cool to get. Would have been cool if they could have figured out how to get a second figure in there for the set, but they still have not been able to do that. So yeah, it's a Gyrosphere, and it's cool to get one, especially since it's the House of Gyrospheres. In fact, I might have liked to see a second included. And here's the full House of Gyrospheres station build thing, and you know, it's actually a pretty decent size. I believe the total size of the plate area here is 16 by 16. I think it's 2 8 by 16 tan plates. And then it does have these stairs that stick out here, and you know, they look okay. They're not exactly the same height, which is a little bit weird, but you know, they realistically can look like a figure is walking up them. So you know, it's pretty good. I do like how the handrails are here. They just use these skeleton arms to angle them in place, and overall the railing looks pretty good. It's actually built up pretty well. It uses the same assembly over and over again, and you know, it looks good. There's no like actual queue line stands, which I guess it would have been kind of nice to see that. This up here would be what I assume would be like the ticket counter or something, and you know, I guess that's how it worked. I don't know. It seemed like, you know, you'd enter the theme park and then you'd be able to go on whatever rides, but I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a security booth or something. They do have some plant life, which helps to kind of make this area pop, and there's even some plant life covering up this little bar that is actually a Technic beam to make it so this area is super secure and won't, you know, fall off. But this is part of the Gyrosphere track, and uses a roller coaster track element as well as a small straight one back here, in order to allow for a cool feature that we'll look at in a second. There is a danger electricity sign and a little bit of rock work down where the Gyrosphere will come off. Here's a look at the side here. I do like the use of this dark red for the post to hold that up, and they're not actually holding it up, it's actually just clipped into place, but you know, obviously in universe they would be the things that would be holding it up. And I like these dark red 4x4 curved tiles. Those are cool to get here. Looking at the roof real quick, the roof does hinge into place. You know, they use those shields that are also used for the Iron Man helmet, and they were introduced for Star Wars. And, you know, they make a good looking roof, I guess. It's a little weird that there's a hole there, but I guess there's a hole there. I don't know why they didn't just use more of these, the 3x3 wedge plates there and there, instead of the 6x3 one that has the indentation in the center, but I don't know, I guess this makes sense enough. Makes it a little bit of a simpler and stronger build, probably. So I guess that's probably why. Here, there's a little bit of weird colors, but, you know, there is this bar here, which would allow you to, I don't know if this was advertised in the instructions, I don't remember, but you could clip this tree onto this bar, I believe. Maybe you can't. That would make sense why it was not shown. You can clip it, elevate it up a plate, so it's like floating, but you know, I guess you can't clip that into place. I don't really know what that bar is there for then. But yeah, okay. And then on the back here we have the Gyrosphere launching feature, where you would stick this right in there. I have it backwards, but that's fine. And then you would just flip it that way, and it would roll all the way down the tracks. You're not going to let it go too far, but it goes like that, and it rolls pretty well, and this is a cool feature. Very appropriate feature, and if you can get it to go all the way, it looks really good too. I have noticed that, like, if you're like this and you roll it backwards, it will usually have enough inertia to just knock itself off, which kind of sucks. But usually, if you do it right, it will come off of that pretty nicely. This flexible tube here is a little bit hard to get to stay perfectly in place, because it does kind of want to bend to be straighter, so it won't want to stay perfectly parallel with the track like it should, but you know, from most angles, unless you're looking at it from a direct side view, you won't notice that, so it's not that much of a problem. And the last little area here is the inside of this booth, where we do have a chair that is actually nicely built up for our park worker. There's the chair. It's got some armrests, which is a bonus, and he does in there have a little calendar on the wall, which looks pretty good. Has a pterodactyl on it, and there are also some stickers down here for the little grates. as you would step off the edge. And that's pretty much all there is. There is one other sticker up there that's hard to see. There, you can see it. It's the security monitor that kind of shows what's going on out in the fields where the gyrospheres would be headed to. And I believe that is all for sticker detail in this set. And the one other thing I did want to show you is that you can get a good bit of a line going on there. We got 4 people. There's more space where you could have it weave back around. And, you could probably get a good, maybe 10 people in line, plus probably another person on this side. I know this is the park worker, so he should be sitting down and doing his job. But we do have this turnstile here, and you could have another person on the other side of the turnstile getting in, and then I guess you could have another person even in the gyrosphere. So you can occupy, you can get a lot of figures into this space, and I think a lot of this space is really well used. So, I'm pretty happy with the way that this build turned out overall. I think that they did a really good job with this, Gyrosphere launch station ride, and yeah, I don't really have too much to complain about with this, aside from, the fact that it feels like a small build for $100, but a lot of the reason for that is because we do have 2 dinosaurs, one of which is a completely new set of molds, not just a single one, and that's the Ankylosaurus here, and it's a pretty good looking thing. The molding for the head and the body is, I guess I probably have to move right into what makes it so special, and that is the way it is constructed. It's actually built up a little bit more than your average dino. With your average dino, you just kind of have to stick all the limbs and stuff on. But with this one, you kind of have to do a little bit of assembly. There are 2 2x3 tiles in tan, which hold it all together, and the top here is a dual molded piece, heavily dual molded. It's got the gray that runs through the center, and then the outside is pretty much all this nougat color, and the printing on there is really good as well. I really like the mouth. I think that looks good, and all the spikes are just really well molded, and there's a 2x4 area of studs where you could seat a person, I guess, if you really wanted to. And the bottom of the body looks pretty good, I guess. It's not as interesting a mold as the head, obviously. We have this tail is also a separate mold, and this one is a little bit rubbery. It's a little bit flexible, so it won't actually hurt too much if you are hitting your siblings with the tail. But it is also dual molded and has this hard plastic gray area where you attach that to a Technic pin, and that can swing back and forth pretty freely. And it uses even 2 of these just regular pieces to attach the legs. And has 3 studs on the side on both of them. And the 3 studs are where you are able to attach the 2x3 tile. And the legs, the color on the legs isn't perfect. That doesn't bother me too much because it is supposed to be a pretty natural looking animal, and colors in nature aren't always perfect, so a little bit of variation doesn't bother me too much. The printing for the toes is actually really well applied as well. So I guess it would have probably been better if the colors matched up a little bit more, but the fact that they don't, I don't think is an instant lose for this particular set. And all 4 legs are actually different in molding because the back legs, whoops, that's the wrong leg, the back legs are larger than the front legs, so that's also why they are 1 plate higher. But yeah, pretty well done Ankylosaurus figure, and you can just kind of swing it back and forth to attack things with the tail, and that works pretty well with the tree knocking over function. But this isn't the only dino in the set. It's a pretty large dino, and there aren't many sets where you get 2 large dinos in one set. And one of the large dinos is the largest size of dino that they do, which is the same size that they do for the T-Rexes and Carnotaurus. And this one is, on top of that, a new version of the Indominus Rex. And this one looks really good. I really like the light gray color for it. The white one, is pretty striking and kind of classic feeling. But this one just looks a lot more accurate to what it should look like. I like the silver printing throughout. I think that it's pretty good and sort of helps imitate the camouflage abilities of the Indominus. It does use the same tail part, which can spin side to side, and the legs are the same as well. They can move up and down like normal, and they do have the printing on the toes as well, or on the claws as well. And the head can move up and down and all around in this ball joint, and the jaw has the closed position, half open and fully open. And it's fully open. It can't quite fit a figure in its mouth, but you can kind of get it to look, like it's eating somebody. It's not like the great white shark though, where it can pretty much go all the way in. I really like the printing on the teeth there, and just looks good, looks menacing, and I really like the eye print on this one as well. There's a little bit of molded detail on the top. The head mold is the same as the original. The one biggest difference from the original Indominus is that the arms are actually different. Instead of having the two-part arms where the hands can turn side to side, they're kind of fixed in position. They cannot turn, but they do have a stud on them that allows you to kind of hold a minifigure like you are attacking them and picking them up and eating them. You can't quite really get them to look like they're being eaten though, because the arm doesn't go up high enough. So you can't like pick up a figure and put it right into the Indominus's mouth using its hands. But overall, I think that this is definitely still an upgrade from the original. Would have been nice if it kept the original hand functionality, but this is definitely a whole lot better looking, I think, on display. And, it scales pretty decently with the Ankylosaurus, too. The Ankylosaurus looks like it is big enough to pose an actual threat, but I don't know if it can beat the Indominus. Well, but that's basically what the point of the set is, and you get to play that out. And the figure selection is not as cool as the dinosaur selection, but, it's pretty good. The Owen figure is the same that we've gotten in the last several waves of Jurassic World, I think. Yeah, I don't think there's anything new since Fallen Kingdom. And then this Claire here is actually brand new and exclusive for that torso print. We did get this outfit, but with the shirt unbuttoned in the original Jurassic World wave, but we haven't gotten this version yet, so this is kind of cool to get, I guess. It's not like I wouldn't go out of my way to buy a single set just for this figure. It's not that cool, but it is nice that they introduced something new here. And both these figures do have alternate faces, and Claire's hair in this dark orange color is only in two sets. The first one was from the original Jurassic World wave, and actually that other version of her with this shirt unbuttoned. And the facial prints here are Owen's face is really good still. It would have been nice to get a new one at some point that's got that same sort of style, but Claire's, I really don't like this face. It's really cartoony and just doesn't really fit with the rest of them, I don't think. But it was introduced for Claire and hasn't been used for anyone but Claire, so I guess it's a Claire face. This expression is a lot better than the other one, but it's still not, something feels off about it. And then we have new versions of Zack in gray. Gray is exclusive to this set because he does get a new torso print, which, funnily enough, on the box they actually show this torso being printed on white plastic, and the actual physical ones are all on gray plastic, but on the box and in the instructions, they do show it in white. So I don't know if that was a last-minute change or if the render was just always wrong, but maybe they'll fix that eventually, and then it'll be kind of interesting to have both versions. But I do like the printing for that. And Zack actually has nothing exclusive, though the torso is new for this year. It is a really, really slightly updated version, I think, of the original Zack torso, which has been since used in a ton of city sets and all sorts of random stuff. But yeah, it's also used for Harry Potter, and actually works for Harry Potter too in a couple of the new 2020 sets. They both have alternate face prints. Zack's face is the same one they used for several characters. It was introduced for Henry from Pirates of the Caribbean 5, I think, and was used for Ant-Man and Spider-Man in the Endgame and Far From Home sets. So there's that, and then his Gray's face is the one that was used for young Anakin most recently. And he does have the Hobbit hair, which is cool to get again. And the hairpiece for Zack isn't too common either. It was introduced for the Zombie Businessman in Series 14 and reused in some guy in Ninjago City Docks too. So both of the hairpieces aren't that common. And one new torso and the other torso, actually two new torsos, but one is not exclusive. So these are both pretty good figures to get. And in the original Jurassic World sets, you would have had to get the $130 set for Zach and an additional $30 set for Gray. So it is cool to get them both in one set here. And then we have this park worker guy, and he's kind of cool. He does get a new torso print, and I believe this is the first time we've gotten that baseball cap piece in brown. So that's nice, I guess. But you know, it's not like this is the most desirable character in the movie. He is based on the guy that was running the Gyrosphere attraction, but he really needed some hair underneath the hat in order to actually look, you know, good. But the torso print is nice, and you know, I can respect that. But you know, it's cool to get a new torso here, and it does have the logo on the back. No alternate face print, and the face that they use for him, again, doesn't really look like the particular guy that this is trying to be. But this is actually the face print introduced for the Flash from the DC, the Jay Garrick version of the Flash from the DC CMF series. So it's interesting that they chose to just reuse that one here. Kind of a weird one to pick, but I don't know. I guess it's kind of cool. You know, he is probably the most unique of all the figures in the series, just because, you know, we haven't gotten anything trying to represent this guy before, but he's also the most boring. Overall, I think that this is actually a pretty decent value for a $100 set. It's definitely better than it looks on paper, for sure. This probably give good $50 to the station plus the gyrosphere. Probably good, you know, probably good $10 to the sign. And then this guy, $10, sure. And then this guy probably, you know, honestly, I'd probably pay $20 for the Indominus Rex. I think that it is kind of that cool. And that brings us up to, what, 20, 30, 40? Plus, did I say 50 or 60 for that? But anyway, 40 plus 50 is 90, which isn't too much less than what this is sold for. And if you're able to get this at any sort of discount, like 10% off or more, I think that this is worth it, which I was kind of not expecting, but I do think that this is a pretty good, and I guess if you don't really care about the Indominus, then it's not worth it, really. But, you know, I think that this is a great set based on the first movie. I think that it's definitely the most plot accurate and probably the most accurate period of any of the Jurassic World sets. This is the fourth largest one that they've done, and I think that this is honestly better than the Indoraptor Rampage and better than the first Indominus set in terms of accuracy and just overall playability and level of detail. So overall, I'm really happy with this one, and I would recommend it, especially if you can get it at any sort of discount. So hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.